permanent shiver. Rock and roll and you're still doing it now. But I was born to try. Lost me out of sickness, almost gone.
You're with Cheryl Lee, that radio chick. You're on Raised on Rock Radio, and welcome to Australian Classic, where we'll visit a classic Australian album each episode. Some you'll know and love, and some hopefully will surprise you. Last time we checked out the new album, The Perfect Sea, by hard rock Australian band Audio Rain. And this episode, for something completely different, we're going to have a listen to Jim Keays' album, Caledonia.
But life goes on. We just want to have some fun in this beautiful world. Lying in the sun, waiting for the big one.
That was a snippet of track one, Waiting for the Big One, from Jim Keays' final never before released album, Caledonia. This album was deeply personal and meaningful to Jim, written at a time where he had the space to look at his entire life retrospectively and philosophically, where he came from, what he had been through, and where he was standing at the time.
And I'm wasted and can't find my way home.
It's a taste of the second track, Can't Find My Way Home. James Keays, or Jim as we know him, was a Scottish-born Australian singer-songwriter and musician, best known for fronting the rock band The Master's Apprentices from 1965 till 1972. He was also a bass guitarist, had a solo career, and was a member of the band Cotton, Keays and Morris with Daryl Cotton and Russell Morris until 2012. Born in Glasgow, adopted when he was 6 months old, his family moved to Adelaide, South Australia when he was 4. He died from pneumonia complications of multiple myeloma in 2014 in Melbourne, aged 67. Caledonia was released last year by his widow Karen Keays and had been in the vault for about 23 years. A little bit of the third track, When Your Ship Is Sinking, from Jim Keays' hidden album, newly released last year, Caledonia.
You are listening to Australian Classic with that radio chick Cheryl Lee on Raised on Rock Radio.
I spoke to Karen Keays, the widow of Jim Keays. Here's a quick little snippet of that interview. The whole lot is available on the podcast if you're interested. That radio chick Cheryl Lee. The launch of your first book coincides with the release of new music by Jim, Caledonia. How did that stay hidden for 23 years?
I'm going to backtrack right to the start. When we first became engaged, Roy Orbison, who Jim loved, and I loved too, had just released an album, Mystery Girl. He died just as it was released, very sadly. Number one all around the world. It was immense. Jim said, that's the way to do it, you know. He said, always have one in the can for when I die. Those were his words back in 88. He recorded Caledonia. It did sit there because I was heavily pregnant with Bonnie. He was busy with Cotton, Keays and Morris, and then leading into the Long Way to the Top tour, which Master's Apprentices, the stadium tour, was on. That was huge. And then I was pregnant with William, and then William was born and passed away. And it just sat there. There wasn't the right time to release it. And he did raid a few songs from it in 2006 that he re-recorded and put on Resonator, the acoustic album. But the whole album just sat there. I always knew it was there, and it just was waiting for the right time. And this is the time.
It does hark back a little bit to Jim's Scottish heritage.
Totally. The name Caledonia means Scotland. It's ancient Roman name for Scotland. I wanted to call Bonnie Caledonia. Jim said, you can't call the child that.
He said, no, I'm going to call my album that.
It was actually a really good name for it. It's a very deeply personal album for Jim. When you listen to the lyrics, It's deeply personal. Beautiful album. It sounds like it was recorded yesterday. It doesn't sound dated. It's classic.
It's timeless.
Yes, yeah.
So beautiful, and it's just been tucked away there, ready for the right time. And clearly, with the release of your book, now's the time for it to shine.
Ambition Music, they have released a DVD of Turn Up Your Video, which we produced around about the same time years ago. It's been sitting there doing nothing, so that's out again. We're going to be releasing all of Jim's back catalogue.
Remastered.
Yeah. There's a lot to look forward to.
Times were so much harder then. Will you know come back again? Will you know come back again?
10 tracks, 40 minutes. That was a little snippet of the last song, Will Ye Know Come Back Again. If you loved The Master's Apprentices, or even if you're just an Australian music lover, as Molly always said, do yourself a favour. It's a part of Australian music history. Thank you for joining me. See you next time on Australian Classic. If you'd like to see more of That Radio Chick stuff, you can go to the Facebook page, That Radio Chick Cheryl Lee, or check out the website, thatradiochick.com.au.
If you've just tuned in, you've just missed Australian Classic with That Radio Chick, Cheryl Lee.